week 8 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few running backs. I have his sleeper options this week. The first guy, Pierre Strong of the Cleveland Browns. So it looks like Jerome Ford's going to be out of this one. He's been in a walking boot, and he's not going to look ready to go. So Pierre Strong in that game, week 7 after Ford went out. 8 carries, 25 yards. So he didn't do much out of the backfield catching the football. I know Kareem Hunt is a favorite for touches and is a solid number 2 running back option this week. But deeper leagues with a lot of flexes, or even deep 16, 18 team leagues where you got no choice but to put a guy like Pierre Strong out there in your starting line. I can hope he could do something good. Right now available 91% of fantasy leagues. I don't think Kareem Hunt's going to get more than 70% of the touches, where Strong could still get 30% of the touches and maybe do something with it. So this week, with a decent matchup with the Seattle Seahawks, where their defense is a middle-of-the-pack type of D, but is vulnerable on times to the run game. I think Pierre Strong goes out there and could be a sleeper this week. Next back's Chris Rodriguez Jr. of the Washington Commanders. So believe it or not, he led the team in rushing. Was Christopher Rodriguez last week, where he had 7 carries for 31 yards at the New York Giants. Brian Robinson, he's not really running the football that well. He's been a touchdown dependable back over the last few weeks. And Antonio Gibson's more of a receiving back out of the backfield more than anything right now for this Commander team. So the last 2 weeks, like I said, Rodriguez has seen the field. 7 carries in week 7 and then week 6 at Atlanta 4. And we'll see if he gets more work in this game versus the Philadelphia Eagles, because this run game really hasn't been effective in terms of yards per carry, and they may be trying to find something here with Chris Rodriguez. So right now, he's available in 100% of fantasy leagues. I know game script's going to be tough for him to get a lot of work in this one versus a Philadelphia Eagle team that gives up the least amount of fantasy points to running backs on the season. But anyway, if you want to have a real dart throw this week, Rodriguez is that guy in the third and final running back I have as a sleeper. Salvon Ahmed of the Miami Dolphins. I know Ahmed, he's the number 2 running back still here for this Miami Dolphin team. And Jeff Wilson came back last week in that game of Philadelphia, and he didn't do anything as Ahmed, and he barely touched the football. Only 2 carries, 3 yards, and a catch for no yards. So right now, Ahmed, we know he's an explosive type of running back. We know he's got speed. Not really an in-between-the-tackle type of player. But many factors in this game where I think he could be a sleeper option. It could get out of hand early versus Patriot team. Raheem Mostert, he's not really a running back. I think this Miami Dolphin team wants to give 25 touches per game to, where someone's going to have to come in and take some of the workload. And I think Salvon Ahmed could be that guy. He's been in the system a few seasons as well. And like I said, this game could get out of reach early, where he's chewing up the clock in garbage time or getting more runs. So right now, well, he's available in 92% of fantasy leagues. I have Ahmed as a sleeper this week, so that's a few running backs. I have his sleepers here for week 8 of the fantasy football season.